Okay, now this is the Raw video that I'm going to do. I obviously have to do this in two parts because it's quite hard to do it. Um, right, Raw was very gripping from a storyline standpoint for me. They did this video package with Bret Hart, which was very, brings back all the memories for me, which was really cool. And then Bret comes out to a really nice ovation from the crowd, and starts talking and cutting up, just talking to everybody, talking about being here. It was a nice little touch actually when he talked about winning the King of the Ring, and then he goes, "I remember what happened after I won the King of the Ring." Points at Jerry Lawler. I thought that was actually quite funny, quite pretty cool. And then he calls out Shawn Michaels. Now that was really interesting. And at that point, I would probably bet that more people were watching that segment as opposed to Impact, because of all the history there, of all the real history there between the two. Anything involving those two having any kind of interaction will blow anything else out that's going on. And man, it was just interesting watching those two just stand there in the ring. And you're thinking of all the comments that they've said about each other and all the Survivor Series history, and I'm thinking this is going to be really interesting, considering what Bret said about him in his book, what Shawn said about him, and vice versa. But it was very cool seeing Bret and Shawn reconcile as characters, if you say. I'm not sure what happens in real life, but it was very intriguing watching that. And Shawn saying what he said. And it was quite interesting to see how many fans were on Bret's side, considering how the WWE have made it look since Bret left in a lot of ways. I felt that they were more staunchly supporting Shawn in this. But it was interesting seeing the WWE fans still chanting you screw Bret, and booing Shawn Michaels, which was interesting. Up until the handshake, they teased Michaels maybe kicking him, which was even more interesting after they did the handshake. When Michaels kind of turned to the side, and I did think, no way. But they hugged in the end. And that was a cool thing to see. I think that was a good way to go, because really, I think the direction you want to go in is with Bret and Vince more than Shawn and Bret. Um, there was no Hart Dynasty. I can't remember seeing them at all. To be honest with you, I thought they were going to do something with those guys too. There was a Divas match. They announced Melina was injured. Now it was quite funny because when they started that, I thought they were, when they had Cole and Lawler, and they're going some bad news. I thought they were going to talk about Steve Williams. Melina is injured. Blew out her ACL, won't be on, so we've got to do a tournament for the belt. That's not a bad thing, actually. I've always had the feeling that Melina was a much better heel than she is face. Her run as a babyface has just sucked the life out of me. I think she's a natural heel. She displays a lot more personality as a heel, and I think that's her role. Hopefully they see this and they bring her back to her heel role again, because she was really good when she was the heel manager of Eminem and when she was just a heel. Um, Bella's had a match which wasn't bad. I mean, what'd you expect? Um, it was interesting seeing them do this switcheroo thing, and it kind of came off like the other one did that on purpose, almost to get the other twin out of the match. But who cares? Miz comes out and commentates for the Fatal 4-Way. That was alright. Now, it was very interesting because actually I'm going to do a video on MVP at some point, because I was going to do one yesterday night. Man, MVP wins this match, which is great. MVP really should be winning a number one contenders match for the WWE title. They've really gone back with MVP and set him back in some ways, but alright, at least he's getting somewhat of a push, so I can't complain too much. But you know, he should be one of the guys they should have been elevating. Other things that stood out to me on the episode of Raw. It's an interesting little segment with Jericho and Bret Hart. That was pretty cool. Um, the DX Jericho match was alright. I mean, I kind of expected Jericho to lose, but I know a lot of people thought there was going to be a title change. I didn't really think so. I think DX will probably eventually have to lose the belts anyway, because if they're going to do singles programs with Taker and hunting with Sheamus, I can expect they'll probably lose the belts at some point. Um, what else happened on Raw? See, this is quite funny. Uh, oh, yeah, there was Orton and Kofi Kingston. Now, at this point, they're probably going head to head. Orton and Kingston actually wasn't a bad match. Oh, before that, actually, they did a segment with Orton outside McMahon's office, and they kind of played into the storyline with Orton and McMahon last year. And then Orton basically saying, I'll kick Brett in the head, and if you put me in the 30th spot for the Rumble, da 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 da. Vince says no. Vince goes back into his room, kind of baby faces the crowd. And then Legacy stand there and basically tell Orton, if you don't win the match, we're kicking you out of Legacy, which was a nice little twist. I think they did that to make people believe Kofi might win, but the problem is they've kind of, in the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks, dropped the ball with Kingston, and it's a shame because he's very charismatic, he's very talented, and he's a good wrestler, and people like him. And I mean, he got really over, especially when they did that segment with him at Madison Square Garden where he put Orton through the table. I think the crowd were really into it, and it's like they're kind of dropping the ball on him. So you had this match on, and at the same time you had the AJ Angle match on. So I wouldn't be surprised if people were aware of the AJ Angle match. I wouldn't be surprised if more people thought that was the better match, and more people watched that than the Orton Kingston match, because I guess in the end the message was Kingston's not going to win, and it was a shame. It was a decent match, but you know. And then after that, I think there was the Brett doing another angle coming out, uh, no, Vince coming out and then Brett coming out, and that was interesting. That was really, really captivating. A lot of people kind of complained to me about this angle, like, oh well, Vince gets the upper hand. Brett just wanted to forget it, but that's the whole point. By having Vince now, Brett trying to extend the leaf, Vince kicking him in the groin and then running off, kind of now gives Brett a reason now to chase Vince even more, even though it's like, but it gives him a reason to chase him. So now it sets up their angle even more now. So I'm expecting something. One thing that was interesting, it was interesting when they were doing the little promo, and he said, "I'll put Stu Hart in the Hall of Fame." There was a chant. I'm sure people heard it of "We want Owen, we want Owen." That'll be interesting. I I think Owen probably will end up in the Hall of Fame, but someone will have to ask me or to help me out on this one. I think there's some kind of legal reason why he can't get in the Hall of Fame. Allegedly, I heard that, but I need that confirmed. Anyways, all in all, it was probably a very good night for fans. We were spoilt for choice, and it was nice to have that. And the good thing is, everyone was talking about wrestling for Monday night, and even at the UFC 108 show that was on, people were talking about the Monday night TNA Raw head-to-head thing. So it was good. We don't know what the ratings will be. I expect there will be lots of bogus numbers coming out for the next 5 or 6 days till the real numbers are released, and be interesting to see what happens now. I think both shows have some momentum. If Impact did well enough, then they may end up doing some more Monday night shows and maybe a permanent head-to-head thing. So hopefully that's the case, and well, in their minds, hopefully that happens and works out. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm joking, and have a good week. And I'll probably be back. I've got to do an MMA video probably in the middle of this week. So anyway, guys, that's me. I'm out. Take care.